Ready.
We're recording? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Welcome to Relax Time Radio, everybody. Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM, broadcasting on Radio Thailand, Chiang Mai. Today, it's Paul and Mun's. We're not life hacks anymore, are we? What are we now? We're
Local heroes of Chiang Mai.
Local heroes of Chiang Mai. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have a special guest today, and our guest is Kenneth from Monsoon Teas.
That's right.
Hello. Thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Thank
have
you for coming too. So our show is partly music and partly conversation. The music, as usual, we start off with our favorite, the one and only Beabadoobee, and then we'll be playing some other newly released music. The music is just in the radio show, so if you're watching this as a YouTube video, there won't be any music in here, but there'll be a YouTube playlist in the description of the video down there. You can check out the music. Today, we're going to be talking with Kenneth from Monsoon Teas about what Monsoon Teas have been doing, what projects they've been involved in prior to this coronavirus situation and lockdown, and what also Kenneth has been doing during this coronavirus period and lockdown in Chiang Mai in Thailand. So,
let's get it started. I would say maybe, sorry for cutting in, but the internet is, you know how it is. I think our listeners.
That was the introduction. I did it.
So I would love to know from Kenneth, first of all, who are you? What are you doing with Monsoon Tea? And what's the community aspect of it, basically? How does it help the community here in Chiang Mai?
Well, I am a guy from Sweden who long time ago started to work with tea in 1994. And I started to work with tea because I wanted to stay in Barcelona because I like to party there. There was a lot of good clubs and stuff like that. And we tried, we were Swedish, we were not in the European Union at that time, so we had to get like a business going. But in the beginning, it didn't really work. So my friend, he started a tea shop in Spain, and I went back to Sweden, and then that started to work. So he called me and said, why don't you come and open up one in Madrid? So I went to Madrid, opened up a tea shop, and that started to work out fine. So finally today we have 96 closed tea shops in the world. This is not Monsoon Tea, this is called Tea Shop. But they're all closed now because it's the COVID, so it's a very tough time. But anyway, about 20 years ago, we started to grow, so we decided we should start to buy like teapots and things directly from Asia. So I came to Thailand again. I like Thailand, I was here a lot in the 80s and so on. But I came to Thailand to source teapots. So I was going to Lampang to find teapots, very British, normal teapots. And then I first came to Chiang Mai, and my friend, who today is my partner here in the business, he told me that Thailand also have tea. And I never heard about tea from Thailand. So he took me to Warroad Market and showed me tea, but in a way, very strange way. It's miang. I don't know if you've seen how miang look like. It looks like kind of it's tea leaves that is for eating. So it doesn't look like tea at all. But he took me up, he said, this is tea. And he took me up to the mountains, and I found tea growing in the forest, together with the forest, in a completely different way that I've seen before in all the tea plantations around the world. So then I decided wow, this is so cool. I work with tea, and I didn't know that tea can grow together with the forest, and I didn't know Thailand had tea, and here it is. So then about 7 years ago, I started to make tea that grows together with the forest in this company called Monsoon Tea. And Monsoon Tea, we are working with, so we're trying to sell as much tea as we can. So we can buy tea from farmers if they don't cut down the forest or if they replant forests. So this is our idea. We are not an NGO or anything. We just by business trying to make money from a standing up forest. Normally you make money only when you cut down the forest to make a table or to cut it down to put corn or rubber or something. But what we want to do is to have a business with the forest when it's standing up. and this is what our idea. So we make tea, forest-friendly tea, we call it.
That's fantastic. Actually, you and I could share some stories because maybe in the first couple of years I was in Chiang Mai, well, second and from the third year onwards, maybe for about 8 years, I also was doing I was making things here and buying things here, and I actually made some teapots, bought teapots in Lampang, and a Japanese designer friend of mine designed the teapot for me, and I've made trips up to Chiang Mai to mess along to places to see ordinary tea plantations, not tea. I didn't know. This is the first I'd ever heard of tea growing in the forest. Actually,
you have probably seen normal tea plantation. You look.
I saw.
What it looks like. I
saw
show you.
tea.
This is how our tea grows. Can you see it? Oh,
yeah.
You see You see the forest,
Wow.
and down under the canopies is the tea growing. So
That's
this
amazing.
is how our tea grows.
I've never seen that.
But one
that.
thing that you probably don't know either, that tea comes from Thailand. Not only Thailand, it comes from the mountains between Assam or Nagaland in India into Burma, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, and Yunnan in China.
Right.
So this is the origin of the tea. It was the only place where tea was growing in the beginning. So nowhere else. And then they grow like a wild plant in the forest, and the trees can be enormously, very, very big. So then the mountains started to be populated, and then people started to use the tea leaf, but not for drinking. They used it for herbal medicine or for eating. And this is called miang, or in Burma it's called lapeto. And so this is the original way of using the tea leaves. It's later on, long time later, when they in China start to come up with the idea that we can actually drink the tea. And this is so, but the origins are from these mountains here. And the origins is the Thai miang.
Yeah, it's interesting that the word for tea is, sorry, Mon, is like so similar in the Indian language, Thai language, and even Chinese language. That
is because chai is actually older word. The first words in Chinese as well that they have signed for is actually lapet and miang. They are earlier than the word cha. So chai is a later word.
It's a later one, right?
Yeah. Right. But so it's interesting. Very few people know that Thailand is actually part of the origins of the tea. Well, yeah.
Wonderful.
So that is.
I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that you can actually, if you think about it, we could reforest so many forests. Is that the word, reforest?
Reforest. Yeah.
Because so in my head, that doesn't work well today, but in my head, you could plant those tea plantations in all of this forest and reforest all of the forests that we kind of lost through burning, through, deforestation, everything, and also create new jobs, right? Is that something that you try to do in maybe coming years?
New shops?
New jobs. New work.
Yeah, of course. I mean, now, for example, we are working with the Huawei area, with the Yang Cha company. In Huawei, there was tea growing in the forest. And then there were people from China, from Mesalong people, they came there and they started to make tea. But then they cut down the forest around the tea trees. But now we have started to reforest. So they have started to put it like 1,000 trees of 50 different kinds last year. And this year they're putting up another 1,000 trees and so on. So they're putting back the forest where they before have cut it down. You cannot see the forest now, but for us it's forest friendly anyway, because it's going to be there in 20, 30, 40, 50 years. No?
Right.
It's coming up. But so it's really cool. For us, when we defined when we have also like a symbol for forest friendly, and we have a measurement how forest friendly our tea can be. It's from 1 to 5, and 1 maybe there is no forest, but you start with a reforestation program. So then you put the forest there, so you don't see the forest, but still it's forest friendly because you actually add forest that is going to come in the future. So,
that is amazing.
The forest is very important. Yeah.
That is amazing. I could imagine that could be a sustainable long-term solution for some of the areas around Chiang Mai and northern Thailand that were previously victim of burning.
I mean, today there are some other things that also can grow, like you see the coffee. And tea is original plant, but coffee is a new plant that they put. But often they put it also in a shade grown and so on, which is also very good for the forest. Because like for us, if we have the tea together with the forest, we don't need pesticides, we don't need fertilizers, we don't need irrigation system, because the forest is the protection of the plant. First of all, we only work with the original tea plant, which is a little bit stronger than the tea plant you see in Mesalong or in India, Sri Lanka, and so on, because it's the original from the wild species. No? But also, because it grows with other trees and so on, we don't need fertilizers, because the leaves from the other trees and the root system from the other trees gives back nutrition to the soil. So we don't need any fertilizer. We just don't need it. And we don't need pesticides, because first of all, this plant, the original tea plant, has more tannins, which is a natural defense against insects and bugs and plagues and so on. But it's not enough. Anyway, there are insects who like to eat this plant. But it doesn't matter for us, because our tea grows in a biodiversity with a lot of insects. So if there is an insect who like to eat our tea plant, there's always another insect who eats that insect. So we don't need any pesticides. We just don't need it. Yeah. And we don't need irrigation systems, because the forest keeps, when the rain is coming, the forest keeps the water. So even like last year or this year as well, when the rain is not coming in time, but the trees, they are always keeping a little bit water in the roots and so on. And so our tea doesn't suffer, because the rest of the forest gives it a little bit water all the
time. How does the taste of the tea compare to, say, green teas or black?
We make all kinds of tea. We make green tea, oolong tea, black tea, yellow tea, white tea, but from Assamica, from this kind of teas. Yeah. So the different colors of tea is only a different way of how a different process of the tea. But the taste, there's so many things that influence on the taste of a tea. But I think that in general, you can say that this tea that grows the Assamica leaf and also grow together with the forest like this have a broader taste span, but it's not so defined and so deep, because it grows with so many different things. So if you think about a normal tea plant that grows in a plantation with only tea, with only the same kind, then the soil and so on, it will be probably more deeper in the taste and more precise. But a tea that grows in a soil that is full of plants and flowers and many things, no? You get a broader taste tone, and it feels a little bit different. But depends on what taste is. Depends on which one. Yeah.
I definitely love it.
But we have enough quality to have customers like Prada, like Guide Michelin restaurants in Bangkok, like Guide Michelin restaurants in Paris, and so on. So our quality is good enough, I think. Yeah.
It's definitely very good. And I feel like it tastes colorful, if that's a description. Because if you have, let's say you have English breakfast tea, right? It's definitely very strong. You have this very deep, as you say, like this very deep taste. But if you have like a black tea, because I went there a few times drinking all the teas, obviously, and it's just very colorful. It feels like you drink the whole forest. I don't know how to explain that, but yeah.
And it also depends, because we make it a bit colorful because we have both pure tea and also flavored tea. So we flavor with mango, passion fruit, and we make it also very colorful. Like this, for example, is our rainbow tea, very colorful. And this is a mix of green tea, black tea, yellow tea, white tea, blue tea, and so that's the rainbow. And then it's flavored with it's mango, passion fruit, rose, and a lot of flowers and fruits. And this is other kind of things we do, like This is our biodiversity. So there is no insects in the tea, but it's to show that for us, we love the insects. The insects is not something we try to kill and get rid of, because they are actually the protectors of our tea.
Yeah. So now, obviously, the virus has just like shut all of the shops, right? And suddenly you didn't have any customers, and you maybe had more time on hand. I don't want to assume that, because many of us didn't have more time. We just spread the time different. But you decided to team up with another, it's a nonprofit organization that that is very active here in Chiang Mai, and you decided to help out the community. Like, tell us a little bit about how did that start, and what you're actually doing as well.
When this happened, it came as a shock in a way, first in the beginning, because we have a lot of visitors that buy our tea, especially our shop in Wan Niman is full of visitors from China, Japan, Korea, and Europe and America and so on. And suddenly the Chinese stopped coming, boom. So all our sales went down 90% or 80%. The Chinese, the Japanese, the Korean, they just stopped coming. And then more and more, we got less people also in our place here in Wat Ket. And also the Bangkok shop, less and less. And it was very fast, how like just went down. And then suddenly there was the lockup. We have to close all the shops. And suddenly we were standing here with staff and everything, and there was no money coming in. There was like absolutely nothing. And then they blocked also our internet sales. We could sell it in Thailand, but we can't ship to Europe or America, Australia, where we have customers. So it was a big problem. And then I think it was actually Salo who saw what they did in what this wonderful food for thoughts, and what they did, and also in what's it called, the music, the jazz place,
the Northgate, right?
Yeah, the Northgate did, and so on. And he said, oh, maybe we should do that and help us also to keep some of our stuff in the kitchen and so on. So we started to cook, and they started to ask people for help. And now we've been doing this for, I think, 2-3 months. What is it? 2 months now or more, no? And every day we are cooking 200 meals to people. We try to cook in a very, not like kind of 7-Eleven mama noodles and so on. We try to cook like mommy's cooking, you know. So yeah, we trying to put food that is nutritious, and try to put our heart in it, but and make it very kind of traditional, classic food that people normally like. And it's been amazing, because the first when we started, we didn't know, because we are not in a very like this road doesn't have much traffic in Charon Rat Road, but people started to come here the first week and crying and telling us the most amazing stories, how they lost their jobs. And you didn't see on them that they don't look poor, you know. It's just people come with a motorbike and well dressed and so on. But
I saw that at Northgate. Yeah, I was
1
there
week
at the
before
Northgate.
they had salaries, but suddenly they had nothing, you know. So it's very, the need is enormous, and so we noticed that it's, it helped Philanthropy Connection helping us and also helping people, and we are helping the people as well. But it's really kind of a help between. So we are no heroes. We also got some help, because we managed to have 2 staff working during the time when it was closed. Today we're open again, but we still continue doing this in the mornings, every morning.
Since the lockdown started to be lifted bit by bit, did you notice any drop off in the number of people coming for food?
Yeah, a lot. Even now we are open, this Wat Ket shop, we sell very little compared to before.
Oh, sorry, I meant in terms of the people coming for the free food.
Oh,
did you notice?
No.
It's the same. It's the same.
It's the same. No difference.
Yeah.
And I also, this is just getting more and more serious. I mean, with the time, even if before you had some money saved up, but now that money is also finishing. So, and you see all over Chiang Mai, when I drive around Chiang Mai, it's like free food everywhere now, and it's really needed. And I think it's amazing how Chiang Mai people have been dealing with this crisis. First of all, the way how they just took these steps of, as soon as the COVID came, people just kept the social distance. The alcohol gel came out in all the 7-Elevens, and the masks was on immediately. And I'm so amazed how tight people have been handling this. And then with the economical crisis, you see all the help is going on the streets now in Chiang Mai. It's fantastic. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was quite impressed because I live in Santitam, which is a very young area. You know, when I go out, it's a very busy area, and everybody's like really young, you know, 20-year-olds. And even among this population, everybody's wearing masks.
So disciplined. They've been handling this like perfect. This is the reason why we had so little in Thailand. The heat probably helped out as well, but the people of Thailand have been handling so fantastically. It's amazing. I learned a lot from the people in Thailand.
Yeah, same. None of us yet quite know how this will all end, even because, you know, especially for industries based on tourism visitors, it's really hard to see how things will get back to normal quickly.
Yeah, this is a long-term thing.
Yeah, me and Mon, we did a show. We looked at some of sort of travel industry experts, and they looked back to when 9/11 happened. It took 3 years for numbers of tourists to reach pre-9/11 levels, and this time it's expected to be more extreme. So it's certainly going to be a big change for a long, long time. Yeah.
Yeah, and Chiang Mai. Yeah, that's it. And Chiang Mai lived a lot on the tourism and so on. So yeah, we see if we can get some alternative jobs coming up and so on. But yeah, it's difficult times. And it's very difficult when we don't see when it's going to finish and so on.
Are you now able to send internationally? I don't know which restrictions have been lifted. No, not yet.
No, we are not. We could just send by DHL, but it's very expensive. So
right.
Hopefully, they said something about 1st of July, the international flights and so on will be more, I don't know, but we'll see. That's the problem. You don't know anything now. We just have to plan, try to continue, and hopefully things will be better.
Now, as you probably know, that in Chiang Mai, there's community kitchens popping up, which are a slightly different model from the food distribution centers.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so right now I did myself. I also didn't see any drop off in the lines of people queuing for food, but hopefully, if enough of the kitchens get going and well, that will sort of take some pressure off and also help to get food to people where they are, so they don't have to, come out and queue for hours.
Yeah. And I also seen those fantastic places where people put some food like fruits and vegetables and so on, and
happiness boxes, right?
Yeah,
that's they're called.
Yeah. They're everywhere.
Oh, really? Where are they?
Yeah. Well,
so many places.
Yeah, many places. So if you have like a papaya extra, you go and put it there, and then it's fantastic. It's such a
Can we share maybe 2-3 places so people can go there? Maybe popular ones where people just are around.
So we'll post some links again. We've done it before, the food map, but we'll post the food map, food distribution map, and also the happiness boxes locations.
Cool.
If we can find some links, there will be some.
I can also tell you that we are distributing about 130 food things in our place per day, but then we send 70 to like a street behind JJ Market. So it's a street there. They had some free food, but then they needed more. And I was there the other day. The lines were enormous, just getting bigger and bigger. It's incredible. Wow. So we probably have to start to maybe even do more food.
What do you think could be, I mean, I don't think that food distribution and those community kitchens would be a long-term solution, obviously, after like the next 6 months. Do you think this could be a start to creating maybe new jobs or new opportunities for people to, you know, to get back into a working environment somehow?
It's so difficult to say. Normally, crisis creates creativity and new things are coming and so on. But at this moment, it's very difficult to say what's going to happen. It's so difficult because there's so many people who work with tourism. And we have to now, okay, soon the tourists from Bangkok and the local tourists will probably be much higher because also Thai people will not go to Japan. Bangkok people will maybe skip Japan and come to Chiang Mai. So there will be like more tourists from the local market, which I think is great, and that will maybe create some jobs, but not at all what has been lost. No, so I don't know. And then we had here other kinds of. Chiang Mai has been good for on the internet business and so on, which is not suffering as much as others. So I don't know if that maybe can come up more jobs in that sector and people get more. Ask for more services in that sector and so on, and maybe Chiang Mai have some solutions there. I don't know, but it's very difficult to foresee what's going to come up. But probably the humans are very creative in crisis, so maybe maybe something completely that we didn't expect at all coming up here in the future. We don't know.
Yeah. What would you wish to see more in the communities for people to get more support?
It's so difficult. I mean, from a European point of view, like then you can say, okay, I would a stronger government who can give, you know, money and. But at the same time, this Thai way or this northern Thai way anyway, and I think it's probably all over Thailand, that kind of community support, how they react automatically, it's very beautiful. And but I don't know how long time this is gonna. Be going on, and hopefully that the government can support continue supporting in a nice way so people don't suffer too much.
You have obviously some relationship with people growing in the forest, with people living in the countryside and in the mountains. Do you have an idea about what the situation is outside of the cities?
So for me, it's terrible because my idea is to make money to the farmers, buy tea, but I cannot buy if I don't sell, and it's been so it's really difficult. This is something that continues all the way down to the farmers and so on. But of course, as a farmer, you often also have a lot of work. People are coming back from Chiang Mai or Bangkok and helping out in some farmer in the farms and so on. So for some people, it's probably positive because sometimes in the countryside, the population is too old to take care of all that hard work. And now many young people have come back to the villages and helping out. I guess for some villages, it's actually kind of positive as well. And they normally, as you know, they have food because it grows around. And Thailand is a very rich country when it comes to food.
In terms of food, right?
Yeah.
I did see like some places around the world, you know, like from America, for example, they were having to, well, they're not having to, I don't know, it just happens that they throw away pig, pork, and throw away potatoes and other things, you know, because demand has fallen off. For example, restaurants are closed, so people don't order the same things at home as the restaurants would be ordering. So a lot of supply chains have been cut.
Yeah, no, probably there's a lot of, I haven't heard directly because I haven't been up, only been up in tea areas and so on, but yeah, probably there's a lot. There is no market for all the food because there's no infrastructure to send it out, and imagine all the export of food that's been going on as well. So it's it's a difficult situation, absolutely.
Okay, Mon, do you have any other questions lined up there?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to know, and I think I asked Por last time as well, but what do you think is the best way to support Philanthropy Connections, Monsoon Tea with the food distribution? Or also, I know that you always give soaps out as well, which I think is really important that people have like these.
And this is also people. It's not me. This is Sabu Sabu who gave us, who saw what we were doing and sent over soaps for free so we can give to people. And Ginger sent us some vegetables from the farm that they have overproduction with and so on. So people are supporting all the time. But the best way to support is actually to contact Philanthropy Connection, because we are not an NGO or supporting. We are not professionals in helping people. Sort of, we are a tea company, and we try to. We're not helping our tea farmers helping us, and we help them. So it's kind of. But Philanthropy Connection, they are professionals in helping people in need, and also to finding people. I think sometimes it is a profession to help. It's not easy to help when it comes to big help. To help your friend and to help someone beside you, it's easy. But when it comes to help in big ways, then you have professionals. And Philanthropy Connection is one of these organizations together with others. And I think they are the best one to get the money and see where are the problems, where should we help, and distribute and so on, I think. So I think that is the best way. When we get help here, then we call Philanthropy Connection, and we kind of, what they give us to cook and so on, then we take away that money and take the money that comes from another person and so on. But I think it's the best because we do this, we are cooking for these people, but Philanthropy Connection, they can also see new needs in other ways, you know. So it's better to give to Philanthropy Connection than direct it to us. Or you can also give directly to us or direct it to other. But you understand what I mean?
Yeah. So we'll share the links to Philanthropy Connection on Relax Time Radio's Facebook page and in the video down there.
Yeah. But if you want to support farmers who make tea, then you come and drink tea and buy tea, because what happens is so we can buy from them, sort of. So this has been it's in everything. There's a chain of problems. So yeah.
Okay. Well,
I
don't live far from your. Sorry.
You go.
I was just saying I don't live far from your tea store in Wonderman.
So you should come by. Yeah, absolutely. Please. You're welcome.
Do you actually offer for people, if they're really interested to learn more about it, to go and visit the tea farmers?
Yes, we will do it again. We did it before a little bit, but now we also have a new place in Cadet, which is quite near, so you can go day trips as well. And we just today started to talk with a girl who will work with us and take care of all the tourism and education part. So we are right now starting up. We have tea courses here in Cadet, but we can also do day trips or night trips as well, up to Cadet. Before, we also have done some trips like traveling around to different tea areas, because today we work with 6 or 7 different communities in northern Thailand with the tea. So we can also go, but right now we will start with is to go Cadet or here to have tea courses and so on.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely come and visit them.
Yeah, you can learn how to make tea. You can make your own tea in the mountain. Yeah.
I love tea so much since I stopped coffee. Well, I stopped coffee for, I usually don't drink coffee, and days like this today, I have a coffee, but then I usually have tea, green tea a lot. And so I definitely go and visit the tea.
Yeah, I hope you come soon.
I've been sort of a when in Rome kind of person, because I'm British, so when I go home it's tea all day long, but when I come back to Chiang Mai it tends to be coffee.
coffee, yeah. And even though Chiang Mai is the birthplace of tea, so yeah.
I know, that's it's a shame. One of those funny twists of history.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, Kenneth, thank you so much for coming on, definitely, and sharing all of this with us.
Thank you so much. And this have helped so much for Corona, not hugging each other, not kissing like we do in Spain and Sweden and so on. The Thai way of keeping social distance is fantastic.
Right.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
See you.
See you.
And an outro from Paul.
Okay, right. So Kenneth's trying to turn off his video. That's fine. Okay, thanks everybody for joining us in our conversation with Kenneth from Monsoon Teas. We really enjoyed the conversation. I learned a lot. Hope you did too. We'll share, as we said, we share some links as well as, of course, the music playlist down there and on our Relax Time Radio's Facebook page. But from Mon and I this week on Local Heroes of Chiang Mai. I like that. Sounds really nice. Local Heroes of Chiang Mai, and I think Kenneth is one of those, even though he's a very modest one, but a wonderful one. So thank you so much to all those local heroes of Chiang Mai. As Kenneth said, there are many of them. It's been wonderful to see Chiang Mai people help out in so many different ways. But from on a night, 93.25 FM, Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai. That's all for this week. Tomorrow will be Kun Tam Show, Legal Matters. I'll be back on Sunday with Lily for the Jazz, Blues and Soul Show. And Mon and I will be back next week. See ya.
See ya then.